Peace, family. My name is Vicki Dillard. So pleased to be with you here on African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to give us a big thumbs up, and share the broadcast. Thank you so much, beloved. You cause our voice to be strengthened and strong, and we're the counter voice to the powers that be's media apparatus. And so you make us stronger when you participate and support and do that. Thank you so much. Family, you all know that the legal and illegal immigration tension continues to just build here in the United States between foundational Black Americans that are here in the United States, that are from the United States, and others that are coming in. Now, I always like to preface these types of conversation by saying our record shows that we're the sweetest, kindest, most loving people on the planet. It is absolutely undeniable and irrefutable that we stand and we fight for everybody else. And I go so far as to remind us that in the 60s, when Black folks were just barely up from chattel slavery, up from Black codes, and up from the Jim Crow Black codes and so forth, when they called us themselves, giving us quote unquote rights in the 60s, when we received the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act, beloved, do you know during the same decade, major immigration legislation was passed because of us, due to the momentum of foundational Black Americans? We need to keep that in mind. What we have come to know is that there is an agenda amongst our government leaders and politicians and the hidden hands that run them, that pay them, that buy them, that's trying to make allies and prioritize others over us. This has to stop. Family, I want you to watch this brief clip that gives us insight to an incident that shamefully took place with the beautiful sister, Alderwoman Emma Mitts of the 37th Ward in Chicago, as well as Carlos Ramirez-Rosa from the 35th Ward, who physically put hands. This Mexican, Carlos Ramirez-Rosa, whose family migrated, one of his family members came from Puerto Rico, the other from Mexico. This is outrageous what he did. Watch this.
As tempers were flaring last week over whether council members joining remotely were actually present and able to vote on a referendum on Chicago's status as a sanctuary city, there was reportedly a physical altercation between Carlos Ramirez-Rosa and Emma Mitts just outside council chambers, an altercation Alderman Raymond Lopez witnessed firsthand.
He was aggressively restraining her and using his body to prevent her from entering into the chamber.
As a result of the altercation with Alderman Mitts, Ramirez-Rosa has resigned from his leadership positions. Too little, too late, says Lopez, who is now asking his fellow council members to throw Ramirez-Rosa out of city council for demonstrating, quote, physical assault and intimidation.
As far as I'm concerned, stepping down as floor leader or stepping back as zoning chairman isn't enough. He has impugned his office and abandon his oath of office.
Tomorrow morning, a handful of council members led by Alderman Anthony Beal will try again to bring a motion that would pave the way for a vote on the referendum. The question is, just how powerful is the opposition?
An organized effort, Alderman, in your opinion, led by who?
To be quite frank, by the mayor of the city of Chicago. Mayor Johnson said there are forces of division at work here, and he's absolutely correct. Unfortunately, those forces are from within his own office, within his own law department, within his own floor leader and city council leadership. They are the ones who were trying to subvert city council from moving forward, even though we had 31 members present.
Family, the tension is real. And yes, it's possible that it's being manipulated from higher places, but you cannot disrespect those of us that shed blood, that created the United States of America. Many of you flee to this, some have fled to this country to enjoy what you call the American dream based on our American nightmare. He went so far as to physically and violently, and when you physically try to restrain someone based on the reports we've heard from his colleagues and witnesses, that's a type of violence. To prevent a vote, You put your hands on what appears to be an up in age Alderwoman Emma Mitts. Watch this. But he didn't, not only that, my understanding is to prevent them from making this vote, which had to do with sanctuary city, talk black to be somebody. This has to do with migrants, figuring out where they're going to stay and what cities and states give them safe haven. That's what this vote was about, my understanding, based on my research. He does this and became very aggressive, like black folks who shed their blood owes you something else. This is an outrage and must be denounced, as many of his colleagues did. But what I found out was after this incident, he calls himself resigning as the floor leader, resigning for his zoning position. All of those are just miscellaneous things if he's not going to sit his funny looking self down altogether from government. But the trick of this is Carlos Ramirez-Rosa, the one that assaulted our sister, he served as an alderperson for Chicago's 35th Ward, which I mentioned. He is Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's floor leader, in addition to being Chicago's City Council's Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. So he didn't just stop there. I'm told that phone communications went out to basically tell folks either not to show up for this particular vote. And because he holds this other unique dual position as the Chicago City Councilman's Committee on Zoning, there are reports from his colleagues that said he threatened to hold up zoning projects for anybody else that went against what he was doing. So he was in the middle of committing extortion, physically assaulting a black woman, a foundational black man. Y'all, this is an outrage. And the fact that he is Mayor Brandon Johnson's floor leader, we're connecting the dots, Mr. Brandon Johnson. That's why they want you out. I know I've certainly been covering you. This is an outrage, and you are being a sellout to your own by empowering such individuals. And I hope they connect the dots, that you put him in a position to disrespect a black woman. I can't wait to hear what you all have to say about it. But this is the very reason why many of the Chicago residents, I've been reporting on this, have threatened to turn the state red because you Democrats don't believe fat meat is greasy. Stop disrespecting those of us that have been the most loyal and the most faithful. My name is Vicki Dillard, beloved. Be sure to check out my website at vickiplanet.com. I have so many yummy, wonderful services. And of course, be sure to share the broadcast here. I can't wait to see you again.